Yeah, I think we can start. Okay, no, not yet. All right, let's start. Welcome, welcome to this discussion. Today, we're going to be talking about 13 keys to unlock your power. And today I have with me Tanu Vatsa Aggarwal. Tanu is she's an author of a book called 13 Keys to Unlock Your Power. That's the book I have here with me.
That's the book I have.
Oh, okay, you have the book too. Yeah, so Tanu is also a life empowerment coach. She's based in Texas. Her coaching work involves personal development, business and career, lifestyle, and she also does coaching services for relationships. She has been featured in many TV talk shows and magazines. Then, interestingly, she's also an entrepreneur running a business of luxury custom furniture.
Right.
Yeah, so the business is Opulent International. So you're really doing a lot of things, Tanu. Welcome to the show. I've been doing this kind of interviews for a while now, for a few years, and yeah,
Wow.
you're welcome. This is your first time here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Uchenna, for doing this with me. And thank you for taking our time. And you're yourself an author of an amazing book, and which I bought and I started reading, and I love it. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here.
Yeah, so how's it in Dallas?
Dallas is boring. Dallas has been boring for the last 2 weeks that I know of. It's just been Dallas and rather more of Texas. Entire Texas is under rains, and I think I like and enjoy rains, even though it's quite not so good to step out. But still, I enjoy the weather. How about you? How is Scotland?
Yeah, Scotland is fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, it seems like we're not even live at all. Sorry, we're not live. Hold on. Okay, we're not live yet, so sorry, we're going to start again.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Let's start again. I'm going to click on go live in the next 2 seconds. So, yep. Okay, I think we're live now. Yeah. So, yeah, you're welcome to my shows, my interviews that I do here. The guest that we have today is Tanu Vatsa Aggarwal. She's a life empowerment coach that deals with business coaching, career coaching, lifestyle coaching, personal development, and relationships. She's the author of this book, which is what we're going to discuss today, which is the topic for the day. 13 keys to unlock your power. So she's the author. She wrote this magnificent book, and I just finished reading it, and it's really empowering. Tanu is also an entrepreneur. She runs a custom furniture business. She's also into philanthropy. I'm right, yeah. So she's really doing a lot of things, both in the spiritual world and in the physical world here too. So she has a lot of experience. She has been featured in various magazines and other television talk shows. Tanu, you're welcome. I'm really honored to have you here today. This is the first time discussing with me, and I know we're going to have a productive discussion. So how are you doing, and how is Texas?
Thank you, first of all, Uchenna, for a beautiful introduction about me. I'm so happy and honored that you're taking my interview and we're talking about my book, which is very, very dear and close to my heart. Texas, where I live, is having a downpour for the last 2 weeks. And I like the weather, I like the rains. So yeah, I'm enjoying it with a hot cup of tea every now and then. I'm chilling out. So yeah, it's all good. How about you? How's the weather there?
Oh, the weather in Scotland, surprisingly today, not well for the past 1 week or 2 weeks, it's really been warm. This is the first time we got a forecast that is going to be extended. But normally we just have like 12 days of summer. Scotland. Yeah, so in a year we normally have 12,
I would
12
trade
days.
that. I would trade that with you. You can take the summers of Texas and especially Dallas, and I'll take your summers.
Our summers are cold, really. So it's not like it's not very, but it's hot this time around. Yeah. So how have you been doing? What's how do I put it? Okay, we're going to be discussing your book, and of course the aim of this show, is just to bring out the knowledge in people's experiences. That's what I've been doing. I've just been trying to understand how other people's journeys connect to every other person's own. And it just shows us how connected we are and how we are all somehow moving along, how would I put it? Similar, like there's a pattern, if you look at
the
everybody's
destination
life.
is same, but the paths are different.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're all going through different things. And when I read your book, I just like I could feel myself inside the book, even though I know there are different circumstances from your workplace, how you left the work, and started doing some other things. It's just so similar again. Yeah. So let's start with how did you get here? What has your journey been like? What has brought you here where you are now?
Like if you have read my book, so you know what got me to this point. But for the viewers who don't know, life was going good, but there was a search inside for a deeper meaning, and which just got triggered with circumstances around. And I stumbled upon meditation, which was introduced to me through a friend of mine. And ever since that, it was a journey. It was a journey to know how to change so easily and change your circumstances around by changing yourself and achieving the dreams that I had for myself, and which was phenomenal because till that point, I was constantly feeling that I was a victim of my circumstances. Like maybe my own family, maybe my workplace, maybe anything else. I was feeling helpless. I was like, okay, I'm just, things happen and I react to it. Things happen and I react to it. But then started a journey altogether where I knew that that reaction was a choice. And dissecting it, like I practiced meditation for a while to actually understand myself more deeply. And that's where this book came from. This book is like about 13 phenomena which I've explained, which are common threads to thoughts that make us fall into the spiral of negative beliefs and create an overwhelming reality. And merely just reading these chapters that I've written will give a lot of opening to people as to what's going on in their life. And every chapter has at the end exercise they can do themselves for a custom made solution. And this was exactly my journey into unraveling myself and dissecting as to what was happening within, so I could change that to change my reality.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I know. I really love this first part of it, about the truth and the lie.
Yeah, me too.
I hadn't heard that story before, and it's really fascinating. Sorry, I can't read through everything again, but it's a woman. There's a picture in the book of a woman coming out of a well naked, and she represents the truth. So the story just goes like, the truth and the lie were discussing, and they got to the well. They took off their clothes or something, and they jumped into the well. The lie came out and took the clothes of the truth
Yes.
and ran away with it. So the truth came out and didn't have any clothes to wear, was naked, and people just couldn't look at it because it's,
Yeah.
yeah. So the truth went back to the well to hide, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That
So
exactly is. Isn't
yeah.
that
So
so
it's really
beautiful?
amazing. Yeah,
Amazing.
it's a very powerful story or parable. So people don't want to see that side, that naked side. Nobody wants
The
to.
naked truth,
Yeah,
the
the naked
people
truth.
don't, the naked truth. And that's where we start to, put up a mask or start lying in the world. When we see that people don't accept our truth, we say, okay, because to get accepted, let's lie.
Yeah, so it makes us ashamed somehow. Sometimes there's some truths that make us ashamed.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So that was how the book somehow started. Then you also gave a prologue, like a beginning side about the your awakening process,
Yeah.
how you fell into the darkness or something, and how you came back, how you came out again into the light before you started your journey.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you
Yeah.
just give us just a brief breakdown on how that happened, or, um, how the awakening actually came.
It was, yes, it was a very organic process, as you said. It was very, very natural. It actually started with I was working and with over ambition over my shoulders. I was really wanting to be a CEO and I don't know what all at the age of 24. And I gave myself a deadline at 26, I have to be here. And, just a glorious picture. And then when I was seeing that I wasn't meeting that and I wasn't feeling happy internally in the whole process. I didn't know how to manage relations. I didn't know how to not, like I said, the situations happened and I react, situation happened and I react. So this was an emotional turmoil that I was going through, not knowing how to handle everything, how to hold my boundaries, how to hold myself, how to take self-care, how to understand and channel my anger and emotions that I was facing. So a lot of those things which I did not know about started to come into perspective when I first started to meditate. Like it was just by chance I spoke about my situation to a friend of mine, and she was like, why don't you start meditating? And then that's where was my first step into meditation, into going deeper with myself and understanding how my brain, how my heart works. And after I kept on doing it, I was like, oh my God, it is such a simple process, but it's still not spoken about that openly. And yes, and my journey was just like for years it went on, and I discovered so many things over the years.
Yeah, you mentioned something about different types of meditations there that when you went for that your practice or something.
Yes.
I didn't know we had these different kinds of meditations. There's a walking meditation. There's a what's it called?
Loving kindness, compassion,
Loving
meditation.
kindness. Yeah. Then the metta meditation and yoga nidra.
Yeah.
Um, so these are all different types of meditations,
Yes.
but the goal is the same thing, right?
Yeah, the goal is definitely the same thing, for having full control over yourself, over your emotions, finding that utter peace inside, and living in a good environment. And you are the creator of that environment. So these different kind of meditation, like I said, loving compassion meditation is a meditation which I do when I'm not able to feel compassion for somebody. Then I start to sit down with myself and I start to extend that love and compassion for everybody around me. Then there is a breath meditation. If you feel too anxious, if you feel too depressed, if you're not in your control, start to focus on your breath. Breathe for like 5 minutes. You'll come back into the present moment. Then there is so many different kinds. There's a walking meditation. So when you're walking, don't be thinking about anything negative that happened in the past or what will happen in the fear of the future. Be in the present. Feel your step with through your shoes on the floor. You walk with it. You're present in the moment. Breathe. It's all okay. So there are so many tons of different kinds of meditation which people can pick up as dependent upon their situations, their circumstances, their lifestyle.
Okay. So let's go in proper into the book. So I just chose a few chapters, that resonate with me. There are 13 keys here. And I don't think we're going to be able to go through all of them, but we'll start from the first one about drama. Drama. Stop the bloody drama. What's it about? We all have drama in our lives. Yeah. So.
Oh man, you
yeah,
bet.
Yeah. So what is it? What was it about?
So this is a beautiful chapter, again, very close to my heart, because when I was into a silent meditation like about 10 years ago. I took like a 3 months of silent meditation, and where I was just speaking 10 lines a day, and that's it, and those were pre-decided. So when I started to take control of my speech, I started to realize how much was I speaking which was not needed, and which wasn't adding anything positive in anybody's life. And it made me realize and think that how much people around me, and me included, were creating this drama, which was an exaggerated and overhyped state, like a sky is falling kind of a mentality, where there's an over emotional reaction, attention seeking behavior, or say about manipulation, or some insecurity that you don't want to talk about. So you gossip a lot. So these were little things that people do automatically as designed in the society, and where we really don't look at what is important to look at, but we suppress it by doing all of these drama creations.
Oh yeah. I won't say I was much of a dramatic person, but I did witness a lot of drama
Yeah,
around
we
me.
all do it, Uchenna. Like, we do it to whatever extent we do it. There are people around us whom we know as drama kings or drama queens. Like, oh my God, this person's calling and I know she's going to eat my head for 1 hour. Like, we all have those kind of people. And we also are somewhat, we all are. It can be the difference in degree. I might do it like maybe once a week. Somebody does it every 5 minutes. So there can be a difference. We all have.
Okay,
But
yeah.
yeah, but we all have that room and scope of improvement. Where am I doing it? What's bothering me? What can I look at, and how can I, because your goal ultimately in life is how to create balance and peace inside of you and outside of you. So any time or any moment you are not peaceful inside, you're not creating peace outside, and there isn't havoc.
That's a new one.
Yeah, and
So
that's
anytime I'm not feeling peaceful inside me, I'm creating something.
You're creating a drama outside. So say, for example, you're not peaceful inside, you're bothered with some work or some project that's going on. And then your kid is always, or your wife's always, or somebody outside is always like, coming in and saying, hey, what do you want to eat? And kid is crying and the dog is barking or
You just
something
snap
else.
or something like.
And you will snap. You will be like, hey, you are such a fool. Why are you doing it? Don't you know? And, so how we do it. Or we start to talk about, oh my God, you don't know what's going on at work. My boss is crazy. I cannot live with him. I can't work here. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So we create all that drama.
That is so true. That's just so true.
And
That's so
then if
true.
you
I
do
just
that,
think
if
in
you do
my
that in front of your
I'm
wife,
trying. I think I'm realizing
and then
why.
she gets involved in it. She's like, you don't know what all is going in my life. You want to listen to the entire list that I'm going through. And then you see how the drama just keeps on having a snowball effect. Like everybody who gets involved is getting involved.
Yeah, and then we blame it on something else. Like sometimes I blame it on like I have a short temper or something, or I get angry easily. But it's actually the how do I put it, the disquiet or whatever within the mind or something. Just not.
Yeah, like everything is like, even anger. I have a chapter separately on anger, which is called Anger is Danger. And
Oh yeah. I haven't reached there yet. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's a beautiful thing I will tell you about anger. We are never angry. We choose we choose it subconsciously where I can throw that anger. And that comes on the basis of hierarchy. For example, if you're angry on your boss, would you ever go to your boss and say, blah, 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 you're such a bad person, you talk to me so rudely, you're so bossy, I can't deal with you? You won't do that because you know you'll be fired. But you would come back home and you can totally do that to your dog or your kid or to your wife or to your husband or to your friend or somebody that you can just come and release and lash out. So we say that this person gives me anger, but apparently anger is a choice. It's a very strong, intense emotion one experiences, but it's always in your control.
Is
Yes,
it?
anger is always anger is always a choice you're making at that moment. And imagine when you meditate and a boss says something to you on a constant basis, even you would know that's him. You would know where to draw the boundaries. You would have the right sentences to speak up for yourself and say, and listen, when you talk to me like this, I become even more unproductive. It kills my spirit, or etc. Like, I'm just giving an example. There are
Mhm.
so many ways of handling a situation before it reaches to a level of that, oh, I'm having a short circuiting here. And even if when you're having a short circuiting where you could not manage, you could say that I am having a short circuiting. Give me 20 minutes, I'll be back and having a conversation with you.
Yeah.
It's about being present to that emotion.
Oh yeah, yeah, I understand. I know this. They have this psychological whatever called anger management things for people that get angry very
And you know
often.
what? Apparently, Uchenna, even sadness is a form of anger. Sadness, where you are very sad, intense. Like, so some people, especially like girls, you would see, they are, people really shame them if they throw too much anger. You're supposed to be like, okay, if girls are crying, that's okay. A boy doesn't cry.
Yeah.
So, girls will show their disappointment and anger more in tears than knowing that they're really angry.
Mhm.
And this is what my chapter in anger also talks about: the different forms of anger. There are various different forms of passive aggressive or whatever forms of anger, and how to manage that anger, how to first witness that, okay, this is what I'm going through, and then knowing how to improve on it, so you have better healthy relationship with yourself and people around. And even in the chapter of drama, if you were looking, there is
Mhm.
a triangle diagram that I talk about where, there's a victim, there's a prosecutor, and there's a rescuer.
Yeah.
There is one or the either of the roles you are falling in when you are in a relationship with someone. It could be a wife, kid, and you. And then you would see that how you play the role of a rescuer to your child, and how you play a role of a victim to your wife, and the wife is feeling like another role of a persecutor. And we all play this role and then we act out of that role. If you are a victim to some situation, you will act your anger out differently. If you are a rescuer, you will act out your anger very differently. So it's all subconscious choices we are making depending upon our belief structure, depending upon who we are as an individual.
That's deep, man. Yeah, but yeah, but most people want to play the victim in most cases, so that whatever is happening, whatever is playing out, is not their fault.
Yes.
Yeah, so we tend to want to play the victim, even if you're the prosecutor.
Even if, yeah, even if, even
Because
you're
it
the
feels
person.
better being the victim. Uh, at least you have somebody to blame, which takes us to the next chapter now. The next topic we're going to talk about is about blaming. Blaming. I've learned a lot about blaming over the past 5 years since I started this my spiritual journey. The the biggest lesson I've learned is that if you blame anybody or anything outside of yourself, then you're giving your power away to that
Oh,
person,
yes, absolutely.
or to whatever it is that you're blaming your condition on.
Absolutely.
But
This is
there's
a
something that still bothers me, even with that knowledge. Does it mean that that external person or external thing didn't play a role, or is
no, no,
it
no, no, no. It doesn't mean that. Other
we're not
person,
denying that other things play a role,
yes.
but we
No,
just
I'm
have
not
to accept.
denying that. I am not denying that. I totally hold accountable that, but you and me, for example, are two different people from two different cultures, from two different families, two different. I expect life to be so different than you. We're just two absolute different people. So when I talk about something, I might not be wanting to be so rude to you, or being hurtful or trying to hurt you. but that triggers something in you. Those words, vocabulary, my stances might trigger like, oh my God, I don't know what she's trying to do here. And that triggers you. And then you say, oh my God, what is the world full of? These kind of people, oh my God. So at that time, we lose compassion. We lose the understanding of that 80 or 90% of the times, people whom you think are triggering you, the people you're blaming, they are not even doing it to hurt you. And then there are close relations where I say, our parents and our spouses and our children, we know each other in and out. So we know how to push those trigger buttons very easily. So there are chances where people are purposely also trying to throw their anger or dump their things on you. That's very purposeful. But that still doesn't lead you to the option of blaming others. Here is a time and an opportunity to look inside as to what triggers me. Like, for example, I'll tell you, there was a man who came to me and said, my wife is always taunting me and saying, you're such a baby, you're such a baby, you're such a baby. And I don't like it. And I have this anger fit at her. And then we get into this argument. I was like, but are you a baby? He's like, no, I'm not a baby. I was like, then why is it triggering you? Even if she says that, that is she who is saying it. It will only hurt you where there is a wound inside. And once you heal that wound, that triggers will go lesser and lesser. And then if you find people who are constantly criticizing you, knowing to create a boundary as to where you tell them that, this is not working out, stop it. I'm going to step out. I don't want to be mean to you, but I cannot take it. I'm going to step out. So there are various ways where you can choose to not blame or not get eloped in the drama cycle which they want you to be in, and taking charge of yourself and letting go of blame. When you let go of blame, you will feel that, oh my God, I can breathe. Like there's so much room that opens up where you are not getting criticized and you're not criticizing someone, and a whole lot of acceptance. I accept myself as who I am, and I accept others as who they are, and that's it.
We're meant to get rid of the blame. We're not meant to blame ourselves, and we're not meant to blame anybody. So no blame.
No, nobody. There is never anybody out there to blame anything that you're feeling or that is happening in your life. You always have a choice. If your spouse or you are not getting along and you're blaming her for ruining your life, then you have an option to either take control of your life and do things that you like, or step out of marriage. You don't have the right to criticize or blame someone for the rest of their lives, for even for one moment, that this is because of this person, this is because of that person. I remember a deal that I was doing in my business and it didn't go well. And there was an absolutely right, perfect opportunity for me to stand up and say, this person is to be blamed. But then at that moment, I took my charge and I said, I did not do my research well. I did not do all that was required. So I could not have come to this state where I could be betrayed. So I took my charge and I said that person has their own karmas, their own upbringing, their own circumstances for which they did what they did. But here is an opportunity for me to learn and move on.
It just reminds me of a saying. There's one quote that I remember that I post sometimes on my page. It's a Chinese proverb that he who blames others still has a long way to go on his journey. He who blames himself is halfway there. He who blames nothing or nobody has arrived. Yeah, so it's just exactly like that. And not just in relationships, like, you can hold the blame from many years ago, and we hold on to it. And it keeps shaping our future. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah.
Oh, what a beautiful.
So we just can't move forward because of a blame.
It's like a heavy bag, like stones.
That's not even real. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, because I've seen people, especially who are blamers, they are constantly not taking responsibility of their emotions and feelings. They are constantly sitting in a victim mode. They are controlling and monitoring other people's behavior. They're always in anger and pessimism. They lack compassion and empathy towards the other soul and their journey. They have a distorted self of respect and distorted self of of my, like an inflated sense of ego or a self. and they lack introspection. And imagine, we also do that in our daily lives. And this
Yeah, I
entire
do.
book is all about going within, not going outwardly and saying, this is exactly what my husband does, this is exactly what my wife does or my boss does. It's about what I do and how I can improve my life. So letting go of blame is a beautiful thing you can do to yourself. A whole big room of experiences, beautiful experiences open up because people start loving a person who is more accepting. And if you
Okay.
become, yeah, and you have better relationships, because then people would love to hang out with you. They'll be like, hey, I want to talk to you about this. I want to talk to you about that. And they know you're not judging them or you won't blame them.
Okay. Let's move on to the next one. What I can see, your book. Why I like the book is like, everything is actually linked. It's just like, it's not a story, a single
Yeah.
story, but somehow, it links.
It
Every
links to the
chapter links
next
to the
chapter.
next one, yeah, and it's just beautiful like that. So this
Right.
one, now we're going to talk about negative thinking. This is a very massive area. We can't do justice to it, and it somehow envelops, the drama and the blame game and all that. So, what has been your experience with negative thinking? What's the most
You bet.
important thing that we can take away? Where does it come from, or how does it play out in our lives?
Oh, yes. So if you see, the heading of this chapter is negativity is like burning a plastic while destroying itself. It annoys everyone with its stench around. And that is exactly what negative thinking is. It's not just going to impact a person who is in negative thought processes, but with everybody around them. And we all have been a victim to negative thinking. And it's a well-known fact, we are what we think, and what we think is what we act upon. And if we are
Okay.
thinking constantly negative, oh my God, then you're constantly doing something in your life, in actions, which is negative. And imagine their life is not working out. So, if I am going to sit here and think about my husband a negative way, like, he never listens to me, he never understands me, he never does anything that I tell him to do, la 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 la. So all negative. Or maybe for myself, I'm not a good writer, I cannot write another book. Maybe this is such a tough process, or I am not a good coach. Oh my God, I don't know how to handle the circumstances. If I sit with that thought process, I will never be able to do anything. Never ever, because I will be in procrastination. I will sit back in my seat and do nothing at all. And that's not, our bodies are designed to progress, to be happy, to strive for better. They're designed like that. So we go against the grain. And that is why these days, a lot of, like, Howard has a special 3 month, or I think a 4 month class that they do, a course which is called a happy mindset, positive mindset class. So they teach people how to constantly be in a happy, positive state of mind. It's so important because it gives us hope and a ray to keep looking forward, apart from the situations and circumstances that are happening around us at the current moment. Maybe at the current moment, my business is not at the level where it should be, but there are two choices for me to think about it. Like, I could think about, oh my God, I'm never meant to be an entrepreneur, I cannot do this, maybe I don't have enough resources, maybe blah blah blah. There's a whole lot of negativity I can talk about. And whereas the second thing to talk about is, hey, I started my own business and I am every day progressing towards it, I'm doing something and I'm getting those contracts, I've already made my mark in the last 5 years. If I keep going on, I will be able to do better. Oh my God, yes, 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 let's go, let's go, let's go. So that kind of a mindset can actually create so much more, and it radiates so much of happiness as compared to the negative person. And now this negative person, like, if I am, this person is negative, after 5 minutes, I'll go to my husband and say, oh, I've done such a wrong thing, I should have worked under a corporate, I don't know what is happening. Instead of going out and asking him, hey, what do you want to eat for dinner, let's go out and meet that friend, I'm doing all that negativity with him in his relationship. And then he's getting pissed off. And then he goes and eats somebody else's head. So, this is how negativity is. We need to understand how to remain in a positive mindset and how to move forward.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have so many experiences. I mean, like, just every day. There's something I learned, that we have about 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, or more than that. I don't know how many
Yes.
thousand thoughts a
Yeah,
day.
70,000 to
And
80,000.
I heard that, yeah, about 80% of them are negative thoughts. So it's somehow hardwired in us already, because, like you were saying, is basically trying to keep us safe. So
Oh, yes.
yeah, so the brain doesn't want you to go and do anything new, Yeah. So what it wants is just for you to do what you're already used to, where you're
Yeah, your
safe. Yeah.
neurons
So
gets,
don't go outside and do anything strange.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but if you stay there, that's the comfort zone that people talk about. You just be in your comfort zone. You know, you won't be able to grow, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So
Yeah, yeah. And I think for negative thinking, the way out for me, I go in a negative thought process. It's not like I don't, and I can't control 80,000 thoughts, but I control my actions largely. I'm like, it cannot manifest into my reality. So I'm constantly, when I look at myself, oh, it's been 15 minutes, I've been in negative thought process, and I'm already feeling drained down in my body. I immediately go back to gratitude. I start thinking, oh God, thank you for this day. Thank you for this happening. Thank you for me healthy. Thank you for the food on the table. Thank you for this home. Thank you for, like, my gratitude journal starts. And within 5 minutes, I have this absolutely new mindset and I feel like I'm in a new body. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. I can do this. And I'm all set for doing it. So gratitude is the answer for negative thinking.
exactly that's what I do, because I noticed, for me, maybe it's just for me alone, I don't know, but once I go to bed and sleep, um, and I wake up in the morning, it's like my whole body and my mind has reset, back to
Yeah.
default setting. So the first thing that
Yeah.
comes to mind when I wake up in the morning is negative. So
Yes.
I'm aware of it. So once I hear those
Yeah.
voices,
Yes. Being aware
I'll be
of
like,
it.
no, not today.
Not today. I'm not
Today,
listening to you.
I'm not
No.
listening to that today. It's not true. And the more I've heard them, I now know that I'm just lying to myself. These are things that I can do, but there's that fear that comes at first, that you just have to peel back. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think the more we practice positive thought processes, the neurons get stronger and stronger. And the more it gets stronger, that becomes a natural sense of existence in less than 2 months.
yeah, 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 because it's plastic, so it can change. All right. So next, let's talk about judgment. Judge me not.
Judge me not, yes.
Yeah, we're always judging. I used to have this belief that everybody, tends to judge one way or the other. But I don't know, judgment can have different meanings to different people.
Yes.
Yeah. So when is a negative kind of judgment? Uh, I don't know. I'll let you explain so I can come in later.
Judgment is a very, very natural process of drawing conclusions based on the evidences around us, how we evaluate events and people. Now, as you know, as life has been rapidly evolving and we live in this constant chatter and bombardment of information, from it could be from our phones or our environment we live in, based on many, many factors, like, appearance is one, age, race, sexual orientation, cars we drive, homes we live in, bodies we have. Am I thin? Am I fat? All of these things are constantly in our mind, and we're quickly judging it. And it's ingrained in our DNA. It's ingrained, hardwired in us. As we were, the primitive human beings that we used to be constantly judging and catching and hunting and doing all that. So judgment is a very, very natural process. It's all about, in today's time, to understand that it's very, very less times that we need to have that judgment antennas on from a point of survival, where we quickly jump instead of being curious and investigating more deeper into any of the things. We quickly judge people. So before you judge, look into it. It could be a different race, it could be a different body type, it could be a different, you might be rich and the other person is not, but there is so much else to offer from both these parties. So don't outrightly reject people when you look at them or look at those tiny little things or evidences around yourself. Sit down, have curiosity, have investigation, think about it, and then you can say whether this works for you or not. So if you quickly look at someone and say, oh my God, she's dressed so bad, oh my God, I don't want to talk to her. So this is something that I'm talking about. Or oh my God, he's not in a high position, and we are only going to deal with people of the high position. There are things like that, or for race, or for culture, or for religion matters. So trying to merge and becoming more human in all sense and aspects is very, very important. And that's what this chapter is actually talking about.
Okay, yeah, so not judging people. How about the judgment we judge ourselves too? Part of the
Yeah.
yeah, it's part of the
Yeah.
negative thinking. It's part of
Negative thinking. I was coming to that.
the
Yeah.
drama. Yeah, so
Criticizing.
yeah, because I judge myself a lot, I criticize myself a lot, and I know, with years of reflection, I know it's coming from the past. Um, things I did, when I wasn't aware in the past, I judged myself so harshly by mistakes I made, maybe, in things I wasn't good at, and maybe other ones that weren't really my fault too. Like, there's a lot that happens in our childhood that we're not really aware of, that shape our future. Some people say the first 7 years of life is actually where your subconscious mind or whatever is formed.
Gets developed.
Yeah, and you're not really in control of so many things then. But as adults, I think we really have to, introspect, look deep into, why we feel negatively about anything. It could be looks and all these things that, like, the world has put out prototypes or whatever, how people should be, like you said, how people should look. And if you don't look like that, then
Yeah.
start judging yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it holds a lot of people back. You'll be surprised how many people, don't even go out because of something,
Oh,
or
yes. Like I
they don't
remember there
show up
was,
because of
yeah.
this. Some people in my position too might not even show up to do these kind of interviews because of their accent or something. I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
true.
so
That's
there
true.
are so many things that we just
Yeah.
subconsciously
Negative.
hold
Yeah.
ourselves back
Yeah.
from.
I totally agree with you, Jenna. That's a beautiful example you gave there. And so many people don't do that interview, as you said. There is a fear of rejection. There is a fear
Yeah,
there that, oh my God, what if people don't love me? Oh, I'm not perfect. My eyes are not looking perfect. My skin is not perfect. My hair is not perfect. My job qualification is not perfect. My whole car is not perfect. My things are not exactly fitting in. So that's what perfection is, a disease. You can never be perfect. That's why I say allow yourself the way you are to exist and allow others to exist the way they are. Because it's so important to be open and accepting to yourself. And mostly, like you said, there's so many mistakes I do. There are never, never, never no way that you do mistakes. There are only learnings. There is no failure, there is no mistakes. There are only learnings that you're doing, and that's about it. That's how we all are doing it. There is nobody, even our idols that we look at. It could be anyone that we can look at and we think, oh my God, this guy is doing everything so great, or this girl is just like wonderful. Even they even they have these learning. They have those, as you say, mistakes that they do in their everyday life. But it's just about looking at the positive side, learning from it and growing, not letting that chain you back.
yeah. If you knew me 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, or 7 years ago, I'm not the same person I was before. Really, I would never have been here doing this video. I know you wrote something about being shy. Well, I think I have the award, the Nobel Prize, the Nobel Prize for shyness. I think I hold that, that prize. I would never ever, anyone that sees me now that knew me then, will not believe that I'm doing this, live on Facebook and having a YouTube channel and all that. We'll still
And
come
a
to that.
huge fan following. You have
Yeah, and
a
a huge fan following. Yeah,
fan
when I
following.
was a hermit, just like you said, of yourself, hardly had any friends or anything. Always on my own, and just couldn't fit in basically into what was happening.
Oh yeah.
I don't have any reasons for that. I don't know, just how I was. Until I had this kind of calling or awakening, just to come out after going through a lot of pain. So it's is how would I put it? Yeah, it's just the
It's
next few.
incredible, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's taking us into the next one, which is very important to me. the self-doubt. Yeah, which is what I was explaining just now. I had very huge self-doubt. I don't even want to use past tense because I still have it, but now I'm using it for a different purpose. Once it comes up, once that doubt comes up, it tells me what I should do next.
I'll give an example. Do you have any child that you are in a close contact with? You have like a kid or a niece or a nephew?
Yeah, no, they're very small. Yeah, why?
Right? Now imagine that little kid coming to you and saying, I don't want to study because I fear I am not good in maths and I will fail in my high school. I'll never make it part of my high school. I don't want to go to school. What would you tell that little child?
I would say you don't know the future. Like, why would you be doubting? Why? Yeah, I don't know.
Wow, yeah, exactly. You have a lot of time, you have a lot of learnings, you will grow with it, and you will be there. You will be there, even if you're not there in X amount of years, but you will be at your pace. There is never a reason enough for you to doubt yourself. Never a reason enough to doubt yourself. It's all about saying, like, for example, you yourself are saying, I was a very shy person. An award of shyness could have been given to you on that. And then you made a determination that I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to start small and keep going on and keep going on until this doesn't fear me anymore. And that is what happens to people. I personally, I've seen myself, like a year and a half ago, I was told to be on the stage and do an impromptu introduction or in front of a huge crowd. And I was like, oh my God, what are you telling me? And that was supposed to be aired on live channels all across. I was like, you could have told me that before. I can't do this. But then I told myself, if they are telling me to do it, that means they're seeing something in me that I am blinded off. And I'm going to go up there and do what I have to. And I did it. And that's exactly when I was writing my book, I had this fear, oh my God, I'm not an author, I've never written before, I have not published anything before, I shouldn't write it, I don't know if I'm doing it right. So all those noises are always going to be there. You can't control those 80,000 thoughts that are occurring to your head, but what you can control is which one you choose about the other. And self-doubt actually kills more dreams and creates more failures than actually a person would do. So, I think, like, for example, if you have one failed marriage, you would be like, oh, I don't have trust in girls, or I don't have trust in boys. Or if you're fired from jobs, you would like, okay, let me not even apply to the same industry. There are so many invariable factors involved that leads to something. Like, for example, in my childhood, I wasn't given enough opportunity to go on the stage and talk. So I had this fear in me that I cannot do it. But as I keep doing it more and more and more and more, it's going to become easy for me. So there is never a reason enough for you to doubt yourself. Never, ever, ever. You can literally do whatever you wish to do if you put your heads on it. I want to be a doctor today. Okay. Every day I'm going to get up at 5 in the morning. I'm going to apply for med school. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to study for 8 hours or 10 hours. I'm not going to watch social media so much. And I will achieve my dreams. If that's something where you want to go, that skill, that capability that you want to develop, it's all out there for you. It's all about, are you out there for it?
Yeah, but it seems like there has to be a kind of belief somewhere, for you to be able to remove that self-doubt. Yeah, so
and that belief is, I am whole, perfect, unique, and complete. You're never less than anyone. You're never more than anyone. You just are your unique self, like everybody else. If
that
you
is
will,
what has helped me.
yeah, you are whole, perfect, unique, and complete in yourself. And you can achieve anything and everything you wish to. That is the belief.
That is just how that's how I think now, and that's how I see it myself.
Yeah.
From comparing myself with, because the normal thing that we're going to do is to compare ourselves with somebody else that maybe is doing the same thing, or to compare ourselves with, that's the problem that we normally fall into. But if you can remember, at every time that you are unique, and that's your strength. Yeah.
And
So
you are unique, perfect, whole, complete in
yeah.
yourself.
So yeah, they don't need to be like anybody. You're not
Anybody else.
measuring yourself against another person. There's a popular saying on a popular meme. That's the only thing that you compare yourself with is who you were yesterday or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
So
have this beautiful saying, Uchenna. I always say to people, always try and focus on your A's to make it A plus instead of focusing on your D's to make it an A. Because there's so many times I see people, they always compare their D's, something that they're weak in, to somebody who is very good at. So you're not comparing apples to apples also. You're comparing something very different. You're born different. You're very, very different. You're unique. And we all have our own ways. There is just no way you can compare anything. We can't even compare siblings born out of the same parents. Forget about comparing
no,
yourself.
we're also different. We think differently. We don't behave the same way. We don't make the same choices at all.
No way.
We don't even like the same things. Yeah, and we're all raised in the same house, in the same
Environment.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the same environment, but we're all different.
Yeah. Don't give up on procrastination. If you want to achieve your dreams, never give up on procrastination. What you want to do, you do it right now. You begin with it.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, then let's go to another one that's shaped a lot of my life too. Bomb the wall of shame.
Ah,
Yeah, so shame has
oh
played a very
man.
big role in my life. How would I put it? Kept me hidden for a long time.
Hmm.
Uh, it's somewhere that you can hide, or it hides you away from the world. Uh, you know, because you won't be able to come out, you won't be able to be yourself. Um, it's just one of those one of those heavy lessons that I had to learn in my life about
Hmm.
how not to feel shame again. Well, not to feel shame, but like this videos that we're doing now. Before I would have felt a lot of shame, to come out and say anything. I don't know where I got that belief, that um, that how will I put it? I just had this belief that I wasn't good enough to to teach or to say anything that anybody's going to learn. I think yeah. So it was this self doubt plus I don't really don't know where those things came from, and I just believed them. So I just kept hiding until I started writing on Facebook, and the way my messages were being received, I was
Yes.
shocked. Yeah, I was
Mm.
like, wow, amazing. So
Yeah.
people actually like this thing I'm writing.
Right.
And from there, I started writing more and more and more. Then from there, I now decided, okay, but I've always had this inner calling, that I was going to speak, and that has always been my shame too, because I stuttered a lot as
Mm.
a child. In fact, all through my life, I have
Mm.
that stutter, and that's what made me not to talk, and it
Mm.
brought a lot of shame into my own life. So that's why I decided to use my pain, as as a springboard, because I know, well, not that I know, I believe that my purpose, my greatness, my everything is inside my deepest pain,
Hmm.
yeah, and my deepest shame. And that
That
shame
is,
is just there to keep you small and make you
yes.
not to be your full, real, authentic, empowered self. Yeah.
That
So
is very nicely
I
said.
haven't got to that chapter yet. So what did you write there? What is the wall of shame, and what bomb are we using to bomb the wall?
Yes, so we need to bomb that wall of shame that we sit in a way that, what is shame? What does it make you feel like? It makes me feel like I am not good. I am a bad person. I'm not good enough. I, as a whole being. Whereas there is a difference, there's something called as guilt. And guilt is when I have not done something right. One act of mine, say, for example, I forgot your birthday. And I'm like, oh gosh, I forgot Uchenna's birthday. I didn't wish him. Let me call him right away. I'm so no, 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 no. So there's things like this. This is called guilt. A shame is I am such a bad, horrible person. Who would ever want to interact with me? Who would ever want to love me? Who would ever want to marry me? Even my own kids won't respect me. I am not worthy enough at all for anything. No good can happen to me. That is called shaming your own entire being. And it doesn't affect us at one level, it affects us at all levels when we are shamed. Whether it's about a relationship I have with myself, it's a relationship I have with people around me, whether what materialistic or immaterial, both ways, I am like, oh my God, I'm such a bad person. And we are generally taught this in our childhood, whether through our culture, our parents, our teachers, through societals, through whichever way, we have been taught this, that shame on you for doing this. Shame on you, you spoke up in front of your father. Shame on you, you could even, ask a question out of order in front of your teacher. So we are always constantly shamed. Shame on you, you just spilled the milk on the floor. You're like a child. Come on. Like, so always realize that we were just taught to be shamed because that was the easiest way we could be tamed to someone else, so to someone else's expectations. And that is where we stopped believing in ourselves. That is where I stopped believing I'm whole, perfect, and complete. And I have a right of existence. I have a right or a freedom to express myself as who I am. So there is the shaming thing has played such an important role in my life and to my near and dear ones' life, where our parents and a teacher and a culture, as I said, tamed us to their expectations by shaming me. And I got shamed. And I was, because I was a child, it was okay for, I didn't even understand what's going on around me. So I would just tame up myself to their expectations and always remained like that until I started healing myself from the very beginning. That how do I feel shamed? What are those times when someone says something where I start feeling, oh my God, shoot, I'm such a bad person? And this is where I gave my example, even in the book, and where parents are fighting. Even there's so many times parents are fighting and the child thinks, oh my God, is it because of me that they're fighting? And you start feeling shame within. When a child fails to meet the parents expectations, starts feeling shame. And that is a horrible, horrible emotion to be in, because that's not a truth. Nothing ever can you do that can shame you as your being. As I said, you're whole, perfect, unique, and complete. There is no way someone can be shamed and someone can shame you. And if you have that negative thought process going on in your head, where you shaming yourself constantly, then look within from where it's coming from. Maybe from your society, maybe from your culture, maybe from your parents, maybe from your upbringing, from somewhere, somewhere you heard it or you believed in it, that I am not good enough, whereas you are perfect, whole, and complete. You are good enough. Go out there and do your bit.
Yeah, we have to believe it for it to actually, for it to be true in our lives. We have to believe it. So that shame really is what makes it makes people feel inferior.
Yes.
That's my big takeaway from what you said. It makes us feel inferior, and when you feel inferior, you're never going to realize your true potential, and there's always going to be that part of you that will that you're going to regret later on, in life. Yeah.
It's like a cage, right? It's like a cage. You feel like I'm
To
caged
prison. Yeah.
somewhere. Prison, like, please set me out of here. I don't want to be here. It's that feeling. And, families which are shame based generally have an hierarchy. Like there's a grandparent and then father and then mother and then the children and children also, the elder one, the younger one, and the youngest one. So they have this hierarchy where they're like, okay, so this person can shame this person can shame this person can shame this one. And this is how the chain goes. It isn't that the youngest child can go to the grandfather and say, hey, what you're doing is so, it's not pleasing me. Can I step out of here? Like, that's called shaming. That's, how could you speak up like that? So there is a hierarchy where we are not allowed to be a human being from the birth as you're born. Like a child is not a child. It's just not your child. He is a human being and he has a right to experience, express everything from the day he and she is born. It isn't dependent upon hierarchy. It isn't dependent upon age. It isn't dependent upon anything. He has a full right to express himself and do what he wants to.
Yeah, that just dovetails into the last chapter we're going to discuss today. This is about don't believe all your beliefs. This somehow summarizes everything we will be talking about.
Yes.
Most of these things, most of these components that you wrote about, they all stem from belief. Our belief system, and whatever you believe, whether it's true or not, becomes true for you. Yeah. So if you believe you're not good enough, you will not be good enough. But if you believe that you can do it, then you can. Like there's no. It all hinges on on our belief system. So why do you say that we shouldn't believe all our beliefs? Are there some wrong beliefs, or are there okay? There should be empowering and disempowering ones, right?
Yes, 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 yes. So there are beliefs. And what are beliefs? Beliefs are just your thoughts. Those thoughts become your words, words become your actions, and actions becomes your habits, and habits become your values, and values becomes your destiny. So beliefs are like a set of thoughts that we hold true. Now, we don't even investigate so many times as to what belief am I holding? Is it even serving any purpose for my higher good or not? Like, for example, parents are God, or money comes through hard work, or destiny plays a very important role in success, and love is blind, and I am fat, and women are more emotional, and men don't cry. These are some beliefs we believe in a higher degree, and depends upon what value you assign them. Like, for example, if a person assigns a very high value to parents are God, now imagine how that person would act out in their lives. Anything that the parents would say, they would do. Anything and everything they would obey on. They would never investigate. The parents would say, hey, you know what, this person is coming here, you should call that person up and come meet us or whatever. And the other person, like the child, would not even tell the parents that I have a pre-engagement. Me and my wife are going out, we already have a friends gathering. I didn't know about this family member coming in. Let me tell you what I can do, if I can make it or not. So they won't even talk like that. They will say, okay, the parent has said, okay, I'll make it happen. So look, because they have put parents at the pedestal of God, like God is saying something to you, you'll do it, right? So those are the certain beliefs that tame us, which are not true, which are not helping me, because now my wife is upset with me. Now my children are already crying that I didn't spend time with them. Now, for example, if money comes through hard work, if this is a belief that a person is carrying, then the person is always going to choose a working environment which is more studious or which is more arduous, where they're working too hard to get that money. And they're able to see it also and validate it also, that look, I had to struggle so much for getting this X amount of money. So these are the ways that our beliefs work in our everyday life. And they hold a good importance level, because if we think about, oh, love doesn't happen to everyone, then you will create that situation for yourself, where even if love comes to you, you won't be able to keep it for long.
Oh yeah, yeah, yep. Yeah, we've done about 1 hour now. I think we should be about rounding up again. Rounding up, yeah. So you guys have heard a lot about. We've just touched on a few of the chapters, and you can see how powerful her teaching is. I love the way you wrote the book. You start with some kind of theory, then you give real life examples of your own life, or of life of your clients and whatever. And the chapter then ends with a kind of practice
Yes.
that people can do. So thank you for writing this book. We've discussed everything. Well, not everything, but most of the things here. And there's still a lot there. There are 13 chapters. We just touched on 5.
Yeah.
So do you have anything to add, any last things to say before we close?
No, I just have to say thank you, Uchenna, for having me on your show. It's been a pleasure and giving me an opportunity to talk about a book which is so dear and so near to my heart. that yeah, it's an opportunity for me. And here, everyone who's watching us, you can buy my book on Amazon, whether you are in UK, you are in Australia, you're in Canada, you're in US or India, from wherever you're tuning in, it's available on all Amazons. So please go in, log in.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to do that.
Yeah. So please go ahead and read my book and see if this can bring about any help to any of you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll drop the link to the book, the Amazon link to the book. But if you just type in 13 keys to unlock your power, you're going to see it. I will recommend this book to everybody. It doesn't matter what stage of life you're in. There's something there for you. So please support her, buy the book, buy it for someone that needs it, someone that's not watching this video today, or you can just help too by sharing the video, share it with your friends, share it on your page, let's spread the word. So where can people reach you? I know you're on Facebook. I tagged you on my Facebook, but where else are you doing things? Are you in any groups that people could join?
Yeah, you
or
can actually
something
go
like
in and
that?
type into my website, and I can drop you a link for that as well. You can book me for any coaching or personal sessions. I have my website where you can reach me. You can follow me on Instagram for my work, and as you've tagged me on Facebook, so people can reach me out there as well.
All right. So thank you, and hopefully maybe one of these days we'll get to do this again.
Oh yes, thank you, Uchenna. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
it was
thanks for
lovely having this conversation with you.
Thanks for showing up. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Oh, good.